Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times.
This Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, Kelsey Harris thing has taken a turn, and it has got the internet buzzing. So according to Tory Lanez's lawyer, apparently they've come out and admitted that Chelsea was the one who actually committed the crime of allegedly popping Meg. This was not scheduled on the bingo card, but here we are. Is y'all ready to talk about it? Let's juice.
Come on, Blazer.
It's a beef for me.
Wow, 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 for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we live.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Voodoo Doll TV, back with a quick little jokes or whatever the case may be. And girl, we gotta discuss this Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion debacle. Now, we all know that during the panorama, I want to say it was 2020, Tory Lanez was accused of popping Meg in the feet, right? Meg said it, he denied it. Ultimately, they went to trial, and Tory ends up losing in trial. He lost the trial, even though I felt like it wasn't a good jury, nor was it a good trial at all. A lot of things were like suppressed. A lot of people weren't able to speak. A lot of witnesses changed their tunes at the very end. There was a whole lot going on. But ultimately, he gets convicted and is sentenced to 10 years in prison. Now, 2 years later, we get this notification randomly out of nowhere that Tory Lanez was stabbed umpteen times in prison. You know what was crazy about this was how random it was, number one. But more importantly, number two, it was crazy because the word had got out that Tory Lanez was in this critical condition state at a hospital, and we weren't sure what was going on. Well, shortly after that, Tory Lanez attorneys went on the internet to tell us that they would be doing a press conference and that basically we should all tune in. So press conference comes, everybody's out there speaking, and they address the stabbing. And I want you guys to pay attention to what the lady is saying about Tory Lanez, his trial, and what she perceived to be a miscarriage of justice. Also, pay attention that she's actually asking for him to be released. You guys, check out this video. I'll come back with some commentary.
2 years in prison without incident. Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom. The prison system can no longer guarantee his safety, and that alone should be grounds for immediate action. But combine that with the overwhelming evidence of a botched investigation, and this becomes not just a legal issue, but a morale emergency. Tory Lanez deserves a new trial. He deserves due process. He deserves a pardon. And if justice still matters in America, he deserves to go home. So what now? What do we do now? We're all here today. We are calling on Governor Gavin Newsom, the California Attorney General, and the public at large to act. If you believe in due process, sign the petition now on the Caldwell Institute page that Gianna Caldwell mentioned at change.org. Let your voice be counted. Let the system know that we see what's happening and we won't stay silent. We can't be a nation that claims to value justice but looks the other way when a man is buried beneath the weight of political motivated prosecution. Dr. King said again, Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This is that threat in modern day time. This is that moment. Daystar Peterson deserves to go home today. And we, the people, have a duty to bring him home. Thank you.
So you guys heard that, and as you can see, they are calling for the release, or at least the retrial, of Tory Lanez. They're basically saying, hey, first of all, we got new evidence saying that he's innocent, number one. And then they're like, number two, yeah, by the way, you can't keep my client safe. He just got stabbed 14 times. So yeah, we want to retry him and get him up out of there. So this is the move. This is the type of timing that Tory Lanez's attorney has been on. And honestly, it makes all the sense in the world, because when you think about how much Meg Thee Stallion has been going out of her way to silence him, honestly, it makes sense. Now, some are alleging that she put a hit out on him in jail. I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything about that. That's just being alleged. But ultimately, it was given to me. Why does she continue to try to keep him quiet? Like, what is she afraid of him saying? And with all these events happening all around the same time, I'm not going to lie, you guys, it's given very, very, very suspicious. But anyway, the people had the press conference basically speaking about how Tory was stabbed, and then all of a sudden the press conference takes a new turn. Another guy gets on here and he starts to speak about how basically Tory ain't do this. According to this attorney, it was alleged that Kelsey was heard by the Bodyguard talking about how she was the one who actually pow-powed Meg Thee Stallion in the feet. You guys, check this out.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense?
All right, so you guys just heard that, and that is explosive in this case. And let me tell you why. Number one, the case has been mishandled from beginning to end. From the way they've been getting rid of judges and adding more judges that happen to be on the side of Rock Nation, people that they happen to know. Things have just been going lopsided this entire case. And honestly, it makes sense that these lawyers are now coming out saying, hey, look, my client's being stabbed, plus he's innocent. He needs to be released. I think my only caveat to that is the same thing Cat Williams said. As it pertains to Tory Lanez, if you didn't do it and you know who did, and you chose not to say who did, then you're the one who did it. if it makes sense. But other than that, yeah, if he's innocent, he should be released from jail. And that also makes sense why Kelsey was the one who turned around and got immunity in order to testify. Now, in my opinion, Kelsey makes the most sense of anybody to have any animosity, let alone to pow Meg. And it's only because Kelsey originally, allegedly, was the one who was talking to and messing with Tory prior to Meg. So in my opinion, it would make sense that in the back of that car, Kelsey and Meg was fighting instead of Tory and Meg. And it would also make sense that basically, yeah, Kelsey felt some type of way about her best friend betraying her, and she was the one who pulled the trigger. That's what makes sense to me. And I've been saying that since the very beginning, but I get it. Everybody's all emotionally charged over this situation, but I found it to be quite odd, okay? Now, I want to get back into this press conference. So another lawyer, I don't know if he's an attorney, I don't know what he is, he got on here to speak, and he basically added more detail to what we know, or what we thought we knew about the trial, and why he believed that Tory should be home. Check this out.
They said DNA analysis showed that there was a 0.01% chance that Tory touched the actual gun itself. Another piece that stood out to me, the call that the prosecution alleged Tory made confessing to a crime. I listened to that call. I'm sure many of you have as well. I didn't hear a confession. But what really shocked me about it is, if my best friend was shot maliciously by someone just 2 to 3 hours before, I wouldn't have answered the call, or if I did, I wouldn't calmly have a conversation with the individual of it. And certainly I would ask, why did you shoot my friend? And more importantly, I would never have given you my current location out of fear of you finishing the job. That was something that stood out to me. I also, in my op-ed, discussed Kelsey Harris pleading the Fifth Amendment. She wasn't accused of anything by Megan Pete or the police, and to my knowledge, she wasn't under any investigation. So why plead the Fifth? What also shocked me is the prosecution gave her immunity. For what? What did she do? Is there an allegation of her doing something? I'm not aware of that. Maybe some of you can answer that question today. During the time of trial, George Gascon, just to take you back to where we were at that particular point, he had just barely won a recall attempt. He lost support in many key demographics of voters. Crime was up in Los Angeles County. And this case would have been a silver bullet for him potentially winning. His policies obviously were bad and people were harmed. So that didn't happen, and thank God it didn't happen. At the heart of this injustice is the misuse of gun enhancement charges, a sentencing tool intended for the most dangerous and violent offenders. In Tory Lanez's case, these enhancements were not supported by evidence. But George Gascon, interestingly enough, who is someone who regularly would drop enhancements or not recommend them, chose to provide enhancements to Tory. And in his case, in any given situation, according to legal analysts I've spoken with, he would do 1 or 3 years if he did it without the enhancement. That's interesting. Why did George Gascon choose to pursue these enhancements? You know, there's cases I've been looking through which George Gascon has pursued, many in which he utilized these enhancements. A couple come to mind that I would like to reference here. One, Raymond Danger Gonzalez, a Mexican mafia gang member involved in a premeditated murder of 2 young men in 2017. Despite the brutality of the crime, Gascon didn't recommend enhancements. You premeditated murdered a teenager and another individual, brutal crime. Why would you recommend enhancements, but you would recommend them for Tory? That doesn't make a lot of sense. He also didn't pursue sentencing enhancements for the senseless murder of General Hospital actor Johnny Victor in Los Angeles in 2024. There's a lot of issues with this case. Many, I think, that the media should be pursuing all angles of it.
Okay, so you guys heard this attorney, and it seems like everybody's shifting the entire case to Kelsey, who's Meg's best friend. Everybody is looking at her saying she was the one, she was the one. And honestly, that is what I believed from the very beginning of this entire thing. It just didn't make sense motive-wise or any other case for Tory to be the one to do the pow-powing when Kelsey was the one who had every reason to be the one. Now, again, we don't know if this is all true. Right now, these are all allegations made by the attorneys and them asking and pleading to have Tory get a retrial or possibly release. So I get that part, but I know that a lot of people are losing their minds. I've also seen people got to move the goalposts. I've seen people on the internet saying, oh, well, it doesn't really matter because he wasn't charged with the pow-pow anyway. He was only charged with actually having possession of the blicky. But the facts of the matter are his evidence was never found. His DNA or anything was never found on the blicky, which means he should not have been arrested. Now listen, rather you agree or disagree, rather you believe that Tory deserves to be in prison or not, the facts of the matter is the case was handled poorly. It really was. And I'm starting to scratch my head and wonder what's happening right now in this situation to make all these people want to just come out randomly all of a sudden to tell us Tory didn't do it. It was actually Meg's friend Kelsey. Like, what are they hiding? What are they doing behind the scenes with all this stuff going on? I always wonder those things when news just starts popping out of nowhere. I just always wonder, but neither here nor there. Now, there had been a plethora of celebrities who had come out to support Tory in the past. Some of them being Drake, some of them being DJ Academics, a whole bunch of people. And even Chris Brown. As of recently, Chris Brown came out basically with the post saying free Tory. Now, a lot of people know Chris Brown has had his run-ins with the law and his accusations of DV and all types of other things. So I think that maybe they bond over that. I don't know. But either way, Chris Brown, CBZ was over there hollering, yeah, go ahead on and free him. And there's a lot of other celebrities who's been saying it as well. A lot of people got quiet because they don't want to get the backlash that this cancel culture gives when you don't agree with them. But ultimately, there have been people who have been standing 10 toes on this whole free Tory train. And honestly, I've said this from the beginning. I think celebrities know something that we don't, and that's why they've been doing that. One of the persons that had come out and said so many things about the situation was Wack 100. Wack 100 is one of those guys. He's a manager. He manages a lot of people in the industry. He's connected. I think he's a Fed and all that good stuff. But ultimately, he has been saying Tory should have been freed from the beginning. So now that this news is broke, here come Wack 100 with his little 1-2 yin-yang on how he feels about Tory being locked up and actually wanting him free. Check this out.
I told all y'all close to a year ago, well, even prior to, Tory didn't shoot that girl. I told y'all, Tory did not shoot that girl. All y'all that was pro this, pro that, now y'all got to pay attention to the bigger play. Y'all heard the lady. See, I didn't know nothing about the security guard coming forward, telling the truth. I knew that the DNA came back 100% not him. And they kept it from him doing trial and they used the other one. That said it could be, maybe it can't be. It was 3 tests. 2 of them came back 100% not him after the fact. I told y'all Tory didn't shoot that girl. Then the day after, they go submit the new evidence of the security guard saying he witnessed who pulled the trigger. Tory get hit 14 times. I told y'all Monday, I said somebody sent that at him. I talked to him too much. His spirit, his soul, his attitude. I'm listening to people come to his door when he's on his little iPad talking to me. Everybody helping, every 10 out of 10 people. Hey, Tory, you think yeah, I'm going to make that call. Hey, Tory, thanks, bro, that happened for me. I'm hearing it. You're not going to get me to believe he just didn't jumped up. He knows appeal date is coming up. And now he tripping. He ain't side with no Crips, with no Bloods. He went in there being Tory Lanez, tending to his business, found a way to help the people on the yard that could never get no help. Nah, man, y'all got to pay this some attention. That lady, she got a point. A day after they submit, that we got the security guard saying he witnessed who fired the gun. We got this dude right here ain't nothing about this dude talking about this other bozo talking about Tory disrespected dude's wife on a visit. Man, get the fuck out of here. That ain't even Tory character. That dude, that social media dude, everybody need to unfollow and block dude. You in violation. You a Norteño telling us what a Sureño did with a brother, with a non-affiliate brother. Come on, bro. Who paid you to do that? Who paid you to do that? Free Tory. Bro, be home. That which couldn't kill him only made him stronger. Stay tuned.
Now, this is very interesting. So according to Wack is saying that the day they submitted the evidence that literally states Kelsey was the one who pow-powed Meg, all of a sudden the very next day Tory gets stabbed. And according to Wack, in his conversations with Tory, he don't have many enemies in there, so he's thinking it's a hired hit. A lot of people are thinking this. A lot of people, and when you really go back and think about the trial and think about everything that happened, I remember Tory Lanez's bodyguard wanted to testify, and they tried to make it seem like because of the holidays or something else that they couldn't get him in. It was a whole lot of craziness going on. But again, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what actually happened. All we know is the speculation that we got right now. And I'm going to tell you like this. This does not look good for Meg. Honestly, it actually hurts her even more because Meg has been known to tell a lie or two or three or four or five. Even when she was talking about the case itself, she lied about frivolous things as far as, oh, we didn't sleep together when she actually did, because she came out and admitted it. And things like that are causing a lot of people to have a lot of skepticism when it pertains to Meg and her word. Because some people feel like if you would lie about something as minuscule as if you slept with him or not, then I have to question every single thing you said. You guys, check out the interview she did with Gayle King, where she's speaking about how she didn't sleep with Tory, and then check out the interview afterwards where she admitted she lied to Gayle. Check it out.
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
Yes, I lied to Gayle King. I probably know that you even asked me about that. I was going to talk about the shooting. Why'd you ask me about Tory? That's not what this is about. Even if I was, I once, maybe twice on a drunk night, kept catching me out of my mind.
So as you can see, Meg clearly lied about sleeping with Tory, and that's the reason why we're here, because Kelsey found out that Meg was sleeping with Tory at that whole debacle at Kylie Jenner's house, and that's how this whole thing happened. And at the end of the day, this Kelsey character, in my opinion, has always been very suspect. It just has. And I'm not saying that, she's right or wrong, good or bad. All I'm saying is she's always had the motive and nobody else. So I never understood why so many people were just pointing at Tory when he would be the one getting beat up by both girls, if anything, versus him being the aggressor in this situation. Now, I don't know what this means for Kelsey. I don't know, because I know she got immunity to testify. I don't know what this means for Meg. I don't know what this means for Tory. I don't know what this means for anybody. What I do know is this explosive information is shaking the internet right now, and we're in the middle of a Diddy trial. So for this to be shaking the internet, that says a lot. But things aren't looking good for Meg. Her trust meter is not working well for her. People are looking at her like she's one big fat liar. Again, I'm not saying she is or she isn't. I'm just reporting what the people said, okay? They looking at Meg like she a big fat liar, and a lot of people are just like, yo, this is what she gets for lying. I don't know. We'll see how this works out and how this pans out here in the near future. Now, as it pertains to Tory Lanez, I would just like to say this. I mentioned this earlier in the video, and I want to reiterate this because this is very important. Tory Lanez, if he's so innocent as they say he is, then in my opinion, he should have said who did it instead of just taking the charge. But I get it. We live in this whole industry of no snitching and, oh, you can't say anything, whoop-de-whoop. But at the end of the day, it's not worth your freedom. So since Tory decided not to speak on it, then guess what? Tory belongs in jail. Until Tory, which I think now he is, but until Tory decided to speak on it, he's where he deserved to be. Because I don't believe that anybody should take somebody else's charge. I just never been a believer of that. I think Tory is super talented. I think that Tory has a temper. I think that Tory might be a whole lot of things. But I've just never heard prior to this situation him having a run-in physically with a woman. If you guys have heard it, please drop down in the comments and let me know. But as far as I recall, I just didn't recall that of Tory. Yes, he's a little leprechaun. Yes, he has a temper. But ultimately, for the most part, I've always seen Tory seem to keep his composure around other women. Okay? I can't say about men, but definitely women. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave you guys with a few TikTokers and what they think about this whole situation. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. Do you believe that Kelsey was the one who actually did this? Do you believe this Tory Lanez bodyguard situation and what he's saying? Or do you think that Tory is just guilty and we're not going back on that? Y'all let me know. Drop down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on every single platform, and I'll catch y'all later, girl. Bye.
Now, I know y'all are all excited because y'all heard that Kelsey's former bodyguard came forward and said that Tory Lanez wasn't the one that fired at Megan Thee Stallion. Conveniently, after Tory Lanez got poked up in the jail. But let's get a few things straight. Number one is that this is literally a rumor right now. It is hearsay. The driver is not saying that he was present and saw what happened. He is saying that while he was driving Kelsey back and forth from the trial, that he heard her say that she did it and that Tory Lanez didn't do it. If they had actual evidence of this, believe me, it would have come forward and he wouldn't be sitting under the jail. Okay, that man was never doing time for anybody, especially not a woman, because he's historically been violent towards women. Number two is that I know that y'all are probably tired of hearing me say it just as much as I'm tired of saying it. Megan Thee Stallion is not the reason he's in jail. He did not go to jail for harming her. He was not charged with harming her. And that's outside of the fact that she didn't even press charges. She never pressed charges against him, ever. Let's also not forget about the phone call that was released from when he was originally arrested, where he apologized to Kelsey and said he couldn't believe what he did. How would that make sense? What sense would that make? And y'all are going to tell me that an entire trial means nothing. But hearsay and rumors from Kelsey's former bodyguard is what should make us believe that Tory Lanez is innocent. I hope y'all hear how that's at. Like, I hope y'all are listening.
No, y'all not hearing me, bro. Do you know how evil of a person you have to be to watch somebody go to prison for something they didn't do? Especially somebody that you actually had a relationship with? That's an evil-ass human being. She was able to put all of her emotions aside, all of her feelings aside, and still do one of the most evil and outlandish things you could possibly do to another human being, is put them basically back into slavery. It's insane. Not only that, you got on the internet and portrayed yourself as the victim from somebody that you knew didn't do what you say they did. You, ma'am, are the definition of evil. Once he humbled you and made you realize you were just another girl, you didn't like that. And you found a way to put that man behind bars, and now your ass about to be behind bars. Everybody knew this man was innocent, but they definitely wanted him to be guilty. And that's the reason that he's in prison right now. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Free Tory, bro.
Y'all, they got some new evidence in the Tory Lanez case, and it's about the freedom out of him. First thing first, Kelsey and Megan both lied. Yup, they was in cahoots to get the Canadian pop star buried under the jail. Let's get into what y'all came to hear and see. Kelsey was on the phone with somebody while the bodyguard was sitting right there listening to her. She telling them, yeah, I shot at that hoe 3 times, and Tory the short ass tried to get the gun from me and it fell and went off twice. So you mean to tell me you initiated all the gunfire and Megan only turned around when the bullets was ricocheting? That would explain why she thought wholeheartedly Tory shot her, and Kelsey, being the sinister snake that she is, knowing that she did this, she gonna play the damsel in distress card. Either way it go, y'all got that man stabbed 19 times, airlifted, and fighting for his life in ICU. This is not a game, this is not a joke. The Hottie Gang, the Hot Girls, Rock Nation, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Carl Croft, all y'all asked to go to jail if it was up to me. The Canadian pop star is fighting for his life, and it's Megan fault. Y'all think it was a coincidence? Follow the paper trail. I've been telling y'all since day one. Check them commissary accounts, check inventory, check all financial transactions with all the inmates around Tory in the last 3 months. We need to see who was being supported substantially. Like, who ain't got no money and all of a sudden started getting money. Tory lawyer doing a press conference right now, and he's saying, with this new evidence that emerged, the appellate court's reviewing it, and he could be free for as little as a month.
Wait, what you mean Megan Thee Stallion friend Kelsey was the one that pew-pewed her in the foot? Don't quote me, but they saying that now Kelsey's bodyguard came out and just said that Kelsey was the one that had the pew-pew and not Tory Lanez. Y'all done got that man Tory Lanez stabbed 14 times for no reason? And why are you just now saying something? I need somebody to come with the facts. I need to hear the full story, because I don't want to just speak on something without knowing the full story. But that's all I got so far. So somebody let me know if this is true or not. Because if it is true, that's some fucked up ass shit. Y'all letting that man sit in that jail cell for 10 years over something he did not do. And like, my thing is, why would you even sit there and wait, knowing that Tory is innocent, and you just now saying something when he damn near fighting for his life on a hospital bed? Y'all, see, listen, y'all might not believe in the no snitching shit, but bitch, I'm snitching 100%. I'm not taking a charge for nobody. You would not see me behind bars for nobody. I'm not a ride or die.
Tory Lanez attorneys are saying that Kelsey, Meg's former best friend, is the one who pew-pewed her. Now, allegedly, Kelsey aimed and fired at Megan 3 times, and then Tory tried to knock the weapon out of her hand, and it went off 2 more times. They said that there was GSR on multiple people, but only Tory was tested, and that when they ran the DNA on the pew-pew, that Tory's DNA was not on it at all. So this story is coming from Kelsey's former bodyguard / driver. He is saying that he's not under any kind of agreement or contract to where he can say anything, and he felt bad that Tory was sitting in jail for something that Kelsey did. Now, these charges were not officially pressed by Meg. The state picked up these charges against Tory. What I find really weird is that Kelsey pleaded the 5th when she testified, and on top of that, she was granted immunity. Why would you request immunity if you didn't do anything wrong or you weren't worried about anything coming out about you? I feel like a lot more is going to come out with this story. However, the titles, the headlines are very misleading. These are not any state officials or any court officials releasing this information. This is simply Tory's attorneys putting this information out, saying that their client is innocent, and that is what an attorney is supposed to do. I just feel like it's making big headlines because Tory was attacked in jail a few days ago. So now they want to drop this while his name is still hot. Soon as I find out more information, y'all, I will let you know.
Listen, I don't know what's going on today, but this whole Tory Lanez thing and his team talking about they have some evidence they're about to drop that's going to clear his name. Now, look, I don't know what type of evidence it is, but knowing how this cult era works and how people support their people no matter what, unless y'all can say that the motherfucker wasn't in the car at all, there's nothing that nobody's going to believe. No, I'm not saying the courts won't. But if for as far as the people, these folks ain't going to believe that. But either way, and if it is something very, clearing, what does this mean? And then you know the conspiracy theorists is already and working because they like, dang, did he get in jail because they were trying to silence him before it happened? Or what? Because, I mean, that doesn't make sense because it's not like he physically got on the internet and said, I'm dropping this news. His attorney had it. So it's going to come out either way. I mean, What? Or was he involved in some mess? I'm sure that's a full investigation on what happened to him. But until then, what is happening, y'all? Like, what is going on? I miss well, then actually, I don't even know. Maybe I was too young to know this, but I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, when we had scams and shit going on, it wasn't so easy to detect. Like, it was a lot of moments. Now, motherfuckers is just either they sloppy or we just like really good. Or this internet shit is just like the end all be all for everything, because why is it so much shit every other day like this? This is like real, you know what? Let me stop, because I'm finna say this is like real regular people shit. These people that are celebrities are regular people. So I need, this regular people shit. Bless you, baby. We just seeing it in 4K. Wow. Did she drop it yet? Oh my gosh. What is it gonna be?
When it comes to Megan Thee Stallion and the Tory Lanez case, I wish I would stop being dense. Y'all are stuck on the fact that she got shot and not on the fact that Tory Lanez is not a U.S. citizen, who is also a felon, who violated their probation. That is why he is in jail. Not for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. And I wish you people would understand that. So it's still fuck Tory Lanez, because for one, you knew who shot Megan, and you decided not to testify to clear your name in the first place. So now you're in jail. Like, you caused problems that didn't need to be caused.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, we will be holding a national press conference here in LA at a location that has been sent to the press. And we expect a very great turnout. During this press conference, Tory's attorneys will lay out the new, pretty large evidence that proves Tory Lanez's innocence. And Gianna Caldwell from Fox News, myself, as Tory's father, tomorrow all of us will speak on important information regarding what the attorneys have laid out and how everybody needs to get involved and what needs to happen for Tory to be released from prison immediately, pardoned, and home to his son and his family.
They about to prove that man is innocent. He gonna be free and y'all gonna be mad. Now let's see how long it takes you to look it up when that man is free. But hey, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Free Tory.
Yo, what the fuck is happening in Hollywood? Oh, no, see them say Tory Lanez should beg the Stallion. It was her friend Kelsey. The bodyguard come out and say Kelsey shoot her, and because she was in fear, she stayed quiet. Now, this apparently in conscience about him after Tory get stabbed up last week and all of them things there. But what me I say is, this shit is crazy. But then Tory, who now come out with this a long time, bro? I'm sorry, but you should have get stabbed up like 2 weeks ago, and then they would have come out last week before this Cassie and Diddy thing started. Cause right now, Cassie have the internet in a one true cool. So you see the publicity we wanna forget on this? We nah get it cause Cassie about to tell me something else. We're gonna just have our minds blown. The fuck?
Now, if y'all remember the other day when the Tory Lanez story came out, I told y'all that this was a publicity stunt and that a couple days later they were gonna come out with something else. Did I lie? Now, Tory was allegedly stabbed in prison 14 times. 7 to the back, 4 to the torso, 2 to the head, and 1 to the face. Then they told us both of his lungs collapsed, and then he was on a breathing machine, and then somehow he's already talking normally in good spirits. Let me say this for the people in the back. The recovery from a double lung collapse is not instant. Even with a chest tube, the lungs take days to reinflate and can no longer function without support until nobody, and I mean nobody, is getting stabbed in the torso, back, head, and face. Then coming off a breathing machine and giving y'all praise report energy by dinner time. Now y'all can go back to my video from the other day. I said, in fact, watch in a couple of days they're gonna come out with something else trying to get him out of prison. Because this is a publicity stunt. Both of his lungs didn't collapse and then have him off a ventilator and then talking normally. Medically, that's not possible. Now here we are, they saying Kelsey shot Megan. If Kelsey shot Megan, why didn't they push that at trial? Why was he calling from prison, apologizing? Why didn't they take her down instead? But they're blaming Megan again. The victim. The only person that's been shot in this whole scenario. Child, keep his ass locked the fuck up. Next, justice for Meg.
Hey man, a guilty conscience is one thing a man can't run from. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you got going on in your life. You cannot escape them thoughts, bro. Bruh, did y'all not just see in that Tory Lanez little press conference from his legal team? Bro, her friend Kelsey, that was there the day that, Tory Lanez allegedly had shot Megan. Bro, the bodyguard just came forward and admitted that Kelsey was the one that shot Megan, bro. And the only reason why he didn't say nothing was because he was trying to protect her image. But my thing is, the only reason that man said something is because he's seen that Tory just got stabbed in prison. Now, hear me out. Imagine you know the truth, but you don't want to say nothing because you want to protect, your person. But not only did Brett get sentenced to 10 years, he just got stabbed 14 times. That man was in there fighting for his life, and all that could have been avoided if you would have just told the truth. I ain't gonna lie though. I feel like at that point, nigga, you are just as guilty. I feel like Megan, the friend, and all of them should be like in charge or something should happen to them, bro, because this man is in jail right now for something that he didn't do. If that's true, what he's saying. Why would he lie? Exactly. He would not lie with nothing like that. But I ain't gonna lie though. I kind of blame Tory for this too. Hear me out, bro. I get it. Oh, you want to be cool. You don't want to tell a female. Listen, nigga. Listen to what that fucking following street rules got you, nigga. You just got your ass stabbed by a Mexican pet. Bro, listen. That's another reason why that street shit is stupid, nigga. You trying to not tell on her and keep it cool, nigga. You just got shanked on my mother, nigga. I would have told on her so fast, nigga. I don't care about none of that. Call me what you want, nigga. I'm free. But you know what they say, though? What's done in the dark always come to the light. You feel me? Shit crazy, man. Shit's crazy, man. Free, bruh. You feel me? Damn. I was supporting Megan, too. Shit crazy, man.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.